I get in last night from Colorado, and it's a very like long flight, right? It's like 3 hours from Colorado, well, from where I was in Colorado to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to Birmingham, and you have a layover, and people are yelling at you about your mask, and you're just like, I'm over this junk. I'm over it. All right.
Yes.
If you ever want to see the butthole of humanity go through an airport, just people are not nice. I'm like, just be nice, people. Anyways, that's not the story, nor is it the moral of the story. But so I get home. It's a little after midnight. I was shocked that I got a text message from you. Not gonna lie, I was like, this guy better be dying because CrossFit Games champions don't go to bed at midnight.
Yes.
Now that is a moral of a story, but no. Here's where I wanted to get to. So I get home. Obviously, my wife's asleep, and I go in the kitchen to give me some water, and I noticed on the counter was like some smudges. So we got new countertops, and they're nice and white. And I just like white countertops. Like I'm one of those people. Some people can be like, oh my God, you want? For me, I like white. So there were some smudges on the counter, and I was like, F it. I'll just get it in the morning. Whatever, not a big deal. It's late. And then like this thing kicked in, and it's weird because on vacation, coming off vacation, usually I'm not going to say I'm lazy because, I mean, I still like work out and things, but, you're just taking time to relax, right? Taking time to be with family. That's what that trip was about. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to get this paper towel and I'm going to get these spots off right now. And it's going to take an extra 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm going to do it. And as I was doing this, I started to think about that saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And things that are important to me in my life is that things are nice and tidy, things that are clean, things that are put back where you found them. Not because you were taught that in kindergarten. It's like because we know as human beings that order is better than chaos. We can agree on that. When given the two options of order and chaos, which would you pick? Most people, I would argue, pick order. It leads to more productive societies, right? And the reason that I bring all of this up is because when I look at you, Dallin, and as I've gotten to know you a lot better, that's what I see in you, is how you do anything is how you do everything. And, for the folks listening, I got to spend a weekend with Dallin, and we shared an Airbnb. And
you're going to sleep over.
We slept in bean bags or right next to each other, or what do you call those things? You get in them, sleeping bags. Jeez, that was. Woo. It's early, folks. Still getting the caffeine in my system. But the point is this: how you do anything is how you do everything. And I used to hate that. I used to hate that saying. I'm like, that's BS. Like, no, it's not, but it is, because I think it's a transcendent mindset that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, the circumstances of what you're doing. Like, this is not what I do, but who I am. And when I look at someone like you, that's what I see. And I think it's so cool as I've gotten to know you better that you're not faking it till you make it. You're not getting by. You're someone that actually embodies, in my opinion, what it takes from a mental standpoint, and certainly you've got the physical attributes to be someone that can win the CrossFit Games someday. And I think that's cool as shit, because I don't see that in a ton of people, and granted, I haven't been around every games athlete on planet Earth, but I've been around quite a few, and you don't always get that. But to me, you seem like a man on a mission, and I just thought that was relevant this morning as we started. Is how you do anything is how you do everything. And man, that's just what I see in you.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a big compliment, especially coming from Micah.
I don't know what that means, but
no, I was.
Go ahead.
We're having a connection again.
So prior to recording it, puts us in this waiting room, guys. So we're in this waiting room. It's got coloring on the wall and nice pictures at the doctor's office. And Dallin jumps on right as I take my first sip of coffee. And look, for those that drink coffee, it's like that first sip feeling. It's pure euphoric. And Dallin and I got to look at each other's eyes, look into each other's eyes, in a very interesting way. But okay, enough of all that. Man, how are you doing? First of all, let's just start there. Like, how's life?
I'm doing great. Like I remind myself, not remind myself, just take the time to think about like I am very happy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm living in the good old days, as some people have told me to make sure I pay attention to that so I
Mm.
don't they don't fly by. But yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really well, tired as hell, but
Yeah.
I'm here. How's your ankle? So obviously you had the spill at Wadapalooza. Um, I mean, like literally, I jumped off the couch. My wife's Twizzlers went
Yeah.
everywhere. I was like, oh my god. So how like is it healing? Like, are you okay?
Um, I'm making very fast progress. It's really frustrating. I am sick of doing all the exercises Matt's sister, Nicole, has
Yeah.
me doing. They're getting very old, but they're working. And I have a really, like, a huge team down here that's helping me out.
Mm.
Um, and just, yeah, I mean, we're working on it every day. That's like 90 minutes to 2 hours of work on it. Um, but it's getting better. Like I can squat. Um, the only thing I'm not doing right now, like I got to do like heavy power cleans yesterday. Still felt a little uncomfortable,
Mm.
but no like running, jumping, anything too explosive. But yeah,
So for folks listening, what we're talking about is there was a workout at Wadapalooza, right, called the Bayside Chipper. Is that the workout?
yep.
Okay. So it's these front rack box stepovers with
Which
kettlebells.
is stupid
Yeah. So
in
can
competition.
yes. Okay. So why is that? Because don't you guys usually just hold them in your hands, right, when you're going over?
Yeah, well, first of all, one, kettlebells they never have a clear, like kettlebell deadlifts, I think are okay, kettlebell snatches, but like a lot of kettlebell movements do not have a set like range of motion,
Mm.
standard, whatever you want to call it. Like if you were to throw kettlebell swings, half of the people do them with the head like forward, half of them are up.
Mm.
Um, they had that front rack issue at the games in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so much confusion on that workout with the kettlebells and not even with the kettlebells. Judges didn't know when we were flipping boxes. Um, but fatigued front rack, heavy kettlebell stepovers in the middle of a competition on soft boxes.
Mm.
We could throw in the dark, um, with confusion. Like I don't know, and maybe that's because I fell and busted my ankle, but other people who completed them just fine were like, yeah, that was pretty dumb movement, a little sketchy. Um, but maybe I just need to work on stepovers, you
Was that the first time that showed up
know?
in competition, that specific version of that movement? And what I mean by version is that I know there's obviously been kettlebells, but kettlebells in the front rack doing step overs, because I feel like when I've normally seen them and I've done them, I've just held them by my
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, I've never seen that, and like Matt's programmed, like I don't know, like front rack barbell step ups,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I
yeah.
think is a great strength tool. But like step overs, as soon as it's step overs, I'm holding the weight in my hands down by my thighs or whatever
Mm.
because I just don't feel safe doing that. I guess I have to suck it up if that's a thing now.
So I do you know who Danny Horan is, or Horan? I'm not exactly
Grand,
sure.
yeah.
Okay,
She's
yeah,
like
Horan.
Vermont, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I spoke with her a couple days ago, and she was saying that, and granted, this wasn't in the middle of a competition, but she said that she had a bad ankle sprain one year right before ECC. And I listened to your podcast on the flight yesterday on was it Move Fast Lift Heavy? Is that a thing?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, good deal. So I listened to that, and they were kind of asking you, what did you learn on the weekend, and we'll get to that, and I can let you answer. But it's interesting because what I heard from Danny was also what I heard from you. which was a psychopath answer. And this was the answer. I wish it didn't happen, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to compete on it, so I knew what would happen.
Yeah.
I said, and she said the exact same thing. Literally, I felt like I was in a freaking time machine. She literally said, I had the horrible ankle sprain, okay, and 24 hours, and I was like, well, this will be a great opportunity to see what it's like to compete with an ankle sprain. I was like, what is wrong with you? Was there ever a point in the competition, psychopaths, was there ever a point in the competition that you're like, dude, I should pull out? Like, this isn't the CrossFit Games.
Every morning. Like, I could not walk down the stairs.
What?
Let alone do an air squat.
Why did you stay in?
Well, the physical therapist I had there, Ryan Lunny, I don't know if he's Cooper, my agent, like, he gets him to every competition for all of his athletes. And he is a wizard. He got me from not being able to walk down the stairs to be doing overhead squats and running barefoot. Okay. Like, he said, like, you're not going to do any more damage. Just don't roll it again, or else then we're really, like, but I couldn't have rolled it with the amount of tape and stuff. But he said you wouldn't do any more damage to it, so it didn't really matter.
So, you know, I remember looking at the leaderboard at the time, and I don't know, you're like second or third, and then obviously that spill happens. I mean, looking back at the weekend, and I'm sure you and Matt have dissected it and watched the tape and done all the things. Obviously, the ankles for certain stands out, but what stands out about that weekend that you came away going, man, like, I really learned this?
Couple things, like, one is, like, you know, when you go into a competition and you don't know if your training's, like, working. What if I'm doing everything completely wrong? The confidence of knowing what I'm doing is working, like those crappy days that I can't do anything right, it seems like, those still are going to pay off on the competition floor.
Yeah.
And it brings, like, a lot of confidence and peace of mind into my training.
Yeah.
And I'm sure over the next 3 months I'll, like, lead back into what if it wasn't working, and then I'll hit semis and it'll be okay, hopefully. That type of thing. I learned that. That's always really nice. And then, like, just how much fun I enjoy it and how much fun I have doing it, as well as what you heard on, like, the Move Fast, Live Heavy, like, how bad I want to win. Like, those are the main takeaways. Another cool thing. People don't talk about this too much. I don't want to get in too much detail, but, like, being able to see the floor. At West Coast, everything was a blur.
Interesting.
I felt like I owned the floor a little bit more on some of those events, where I almost felt like I could control what other people were doing through my own actions, you know? So,
like, take me through that, because I've heard Matt Frazier talk about that, and really I don't hear a ton of people talk about it, and it's probably because I mean, no offense, but they're probably not fit, like, or fit enough like you are. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just being serious. I mean,
like at West Coast, I wasn't fit enough for that.
Yeah, I mean,
and I couldn't see it.
100%. I feel like you have to have a level of, like, fitness, you know what I'm saying, to be able to go,
yeah,
hey, I'm not dying right now, I can play this game.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. So walk me through that, because I'm fascinated with this. It's like the game inside of the game. I think that's a book, which kind of talks about this. It's like there's the game that you're playing with the scoreboard, right? And then there's the game inside of that, where it's a more mental game, where body language plays a huge role, you know, or in your profession, pacing, and, you know, the way that you move from, you know, transition. So how do you, like, I'm very interested in this. Is it scripted? Like, do you go, hey, I know I'm going to, like, jog hard to this, or is it just, I'm just playing and I'm just in a, what do they call it? A flow state. Like, can you walk me through how you do that?
So this competition, I wanted to try something where I was, like, a little more relaxed. Like, I was never have I once laughed in the corrals before an event.
Oh,
Like, I was having a good time. We were having a good time. We can get into that a little later, but
yes, totally.
where was I going with that? Oh,
About
like with the scripted thing.
mhm,
Um, so like I know I need to run between transitions, but this competition it wasn't like you run from the pull-up bar to the chest bar or to the bike in this
mhm,
many steps or whatever.
mhm,
It was like I know when to run, I know my competitors, and I'm like trying to get that feel. Is kind of what I wanted to do this competition.
mhm,
But like the first time I felt it was Echo on Fran, and
mhm,
it's such a short workout. Um, and it's because I was in the top three on that one, so it's easier to feel that way. But it was like I was one of the only people around me that broke the 21 thrusters. But I finished 21 thrusters 0 to 1 reps behind everyone else. Like, so I broke, dropped, picked it back up, finished, and I was like, okay, you know what you're doing. Like everyone else did slow thrusters and didn't get a break. Ran to the bar, and I looked around as I jumped up. I was one of the first guys, well, probably like top 7 on the bar, and then it was like fourth to the bike or fifth, and then I could see people slowing down on movements, walking to bars, walking to bikes, that type of thing, knowing who I could pick off, and I was like, I'm not gonna get Jason or Phil on this one. They're gonna go. I'm gonna worry about picking Pat off on these thrusters, get to the chest bar, and as long as I beat him to the bike, I'm fine. That type of thing.
let me tell you, Bill Grunler was disgruntled about you breaking those 21 chest bars. Does he know what he's doing? Is this a rookie
Or
mistake?
the thruster?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't. I don't even want to talk about the Wadapalooza coverage. That was a
Okay.
joke.
All right. We don't talk about it.
We can talk about it, but yeah.
Like it.
I took it personally, and I don't need to, but I'm going to.
Let's go. And folks, this is why you listen to the Brute Strength podcast, because we have way more fun than other podcasts.
And Micah brings out the true Dallin because I know him, and not many people get that. So
Look, man.
at Savon.
Yeah, we're gonna use that. We're gonna clip it. No, I don't take that lightly. I was telling someone the other day, they were like, "Didn't you already have Dallin on?" And they're like, "I was like, yeah." I was like, but, and this is interesting, and we're gonna get back into the Wadapalooza thing. But as I started, because obviously I had the opportunity to interview like first 3-4 people out of the gate. It was like Matt Bruce, you, we had Dex and Joey, and then I think it was like Cara Saunders. I was like, damn, what a lineup that
Yeah.
was. Like
Yeah.
amazing humans, all of you. And so as I started to listen to your newer stuff, it was really cool because I feel like I've grown a lot, but as an interviewer and as a conversationalist, if that's even a thing, but what was even cooler was to see how, and maybe someone's told you this, maybe they haven't, how you've grown a lot, like as an interviewee and just as a character. I feel like our first conversation was like I was trying to figure this out, and then I feel like you were
Yeah.
like still trying to get to know you and like this role of being in the spotlight, of being in the elite individuals and what that meant, because it's like, yeah, I mean, the teens are important, and not to discount your
No, yeah.
crazy ass career, because it's unbelievable what you were able to accomplish. But I felt like you were like 1 foot in the water, like me trying to test it out. I think
Yeah.
we were in the same place, achieving different things, and then I listened to you on Savannah, I listened to you on Move Fast, Lift Heavy, and then all of a sudden I'm like, who is this guy cracking jokes in the middle of this? I was like, is this the same Dallin? I was like, get out of here. So
Yeah.
it's cool to hear that.
Like, I'm 20. I still haven't figured out exactly who I am, but like I've talked with Cooper and finding out who I am and who I truly am and riding with it, um, to build like not necessarily my brand, but like my character, who I am, uh, my fan base. Like when I'm on the games floor, like you see Danielle Brandon, she like I look up to her in a lot of ways through that, but like we are not the same people. I couldn't double finger in the Coliseum, and that's just not who I am, which is totally okay. And
Respect.
it's super cool that that's who she is, and like I wish I could do that. So I'm like, dang, that's so cool. But like I look up to her in that way where it's figuring
Mm.
out who I am and just like completely riding with it. And I still have a couple years before I really figure it out, I think, but I am becoming more confident in that person that I am. So,
Mm. Man, you make some good points because I first of all, I couldn't agree more with you. I think you're so dead on with that. It's people are unequivocally attracted to people that are truly themselves, people that have embraced, maybe is a better way of saying it,
hmm
who they are, and are not shameful about it. They're not trying to be something that they're not. And look, to Savant's credit, I think that's why his podcast, not the only reason, but one of the reasons that it's so successful is because he is unapologetically him, and he plays that jackass role better
yeah,
than most, and he can get away with it. Like I can't have people on and say some of the things that he says to people because first of all, it's not me, but
yeah,
it's just everyone has that. And to your point, it's like you couldn't go on a Coliseum and flip double birds to the crowd. It's like people be like, "This guy needs to get canceled. Does he realize
yeah,
this? This is 2022." Like and
yes.
right, like, anyways,
And I mean,
I think
like,
you're right.
I'm sure there's other people that could do that, and
Yeah,
like, I don't want to say get away with it because that's not what it is. Like,
yeah.
it's hard to explain. You just have to understand it. So if you don't, I'm sorry, but like, it just works that way.
Mm. Yeah. What do
Am I
you?
saying that? Because
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want it to sound like, oh, I wish I could. Like, I don't. Like, it's who you are as a person, and you need to like love that.
Mm.
Or I don't. Yeah, I'm talking in circles now. But
No, I think we're getting to some good stuff.
yeah,
Where do you think that comes from? Right, like in what I mean by that, I mean, where do you think finding out who you are comes from? Because everybody's on their own journey, right? I mean, whether you're a
yeah.
mom, whether you're an athlete, like everybody has their journey, and it never ends as long as your heart's still beating. So, and you're constantly evolving. Where do you think that comes from for like specifically for you as an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's like how I was raised and my parents and my family. Um, but I had like 20 years of that
Mm-hmm.
now. Um, but I think it's so cool that I am here in Florida with Corinne, where not only are we learning how to work together, but like we've been with family and everyone like our entire life. So now we really have to figure out who we are by ourselves, as well
Mm.
as together, like I said. And I think that's been cool. Like really finding out what your passions are, like what you like to do, like not just because family does it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but um, like we are on our own out here. Like we have
Yeah.
tons of great people and friends, but when it comes to family, like it's just us. Um,
Mm.
and I think that's played a big role in it. And then just your experiences and how you view them.
Mm.
And for me, a lot of those experiences I'm talking about are competitions. Um, how I come out of those shapes me as an athlete as well as a human, and then my
Mm.
character and who I want to be. So,
It's excuse me. It's interesting because I was having this conversation with Danny. Um, her parents got divorced. My parents got divorced, and we were having this conversation in regards to why, specifically in regards to our perception on relationships, our perception on life, and how to view it is whether you want it to be or not is often tinted, and I know that word has a negative connotation, and that's not what I mean, but it just is what it is.
yeah.
It's tinted through these glasses and this perspective of what you experience, because that's really all we have as humans is
hmm
our experiences. And I think that whole saying that more is caught than taught is so true. And here's the example that I gave on the podcast. When my wife and I were getting married, and I don't know if you did something similar, but we did um, like a premarital counseling, right? And it was really
hmm
cool because we got
That's
to,
cool.
yeah, because we got to really like get to know each other even more. And granted, we had all the tough conversations, or at least from how I viewed it. We had all the tough conversations, but this helped those conversations go even further. And so to drive home my point about caught versus taught is there was this thing, and granted it was very long. I'm just giving you a microcosm of one little thing. It was like household chores, household duties, and it. So she filled it out separately, and I filled it out separately. Okay, so we did not see results until we met with the gentleman, and one of the things was who takes out the trash or who's responsible for taking out the trash, and the options were Micah, Ashley, both. Those were the three options, and it was funny. We both picked Micah. Why did we both pick Micah? We both picked Micah because of our experiences. And you might say, well, what does that mean? Simple. We both grew up in very southern homes where like the man, and I think that's not just southern thing, like most men probably take out the trash, but it's like, why is that? It's like typically because we saw our dads take out the trash. And it's not because someone had to tell you, hey, Dallin, you need to take out the trash for your wife here. You know, this is proper. Be a good Southern man. You're living in Naples, Florida now. No one said that to you. You just did it. Yeah. And that's my point. More is caught than taught. And so I totally get what you're saying. It's like you have these experiences, quite frankly, that you viewed through your own eyes, via your parents, via your friends, via the people that you surround yourself with. And now I'm in that same stage of life. Like now you're getting to, being newly married. Now you're getting to do that for yourself and ask the questions, why do I believe what I believe? Not just that someone told me to believe it.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that's 100% spot on.
How's Naples? Is it warm?
It's so warm. We had a bit of a cold front, and I have become soft now, and I've only been here a month because it was 55 degrees, and I was like, what is this? And I was freezing cold in the gym, freezing cold driving to the gym. It was not cool, but yeah, it's beautiful here. Other than that day.
So I think the most exciting news I've heard about Naples, I was talking to Phil Toon about this, was, and actually James messaged me as well. You guys are getting a Crumble cookie in March, April is what the Chamber of Commerce said in Naples. Yes. So this will define our friendship. Are you into Crumble cookie? And don't tell me you can't do it because of CrossFit. Okay, all right.
That's what helps me in CrossFit.
Okay. I don't want this BS. No, I can't do this because it's not my macros. Like no. Okay, so
anything will fit your macros if you try hard enough.
Exactly. So did you guys have a Crumble cookie in Utah where you were from?
Right down the road.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're familiar with it.
So Crumble started. The guy who started it he started it. He goes to my school, Utah State. He went there. Started it. No, he's like 6 years older than me. But my sister-in-law was there at the same time. She's the same age. I guess she's only like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
But he did it as a class project for his senior year, and now he is filthy rich. But Utah's a wild place, man.
Why do you say that?
Not many coffee drinkers, right? So everything is soda shops, which we won't talk about that. That's a full other.
No. Now I'm interested. What is a soda shop? First of all, we don't soda. What is that?
Like, it has like a menu with all these different soda and sparkling drinks and just fountain drinks, and then they have like cookies and stuff. But it's like literally just soda, and there's like 3 different like 3 companies, and they're all over Utah. Anyway, there's that, and there are cookie shops.
Okay, cookie shops.
And there is Crumble, Chip. I can't even remember. There's like 4 or 5, but they're everywhere. Like next to Crumble was a Chip, and it's clear that Crumble's the best because the other ones have started to go out of business. But like, yeah, cookie shops on every corner in Utah because that's where they started.
So it really so the first location of Crumble, man, this is history. I mean, I did not know this, was in Utah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Crumble HQ is like 25 minutes from my house.
Amazing.
Like the first shop.
Yeah, the first shop. Amazing. So I did not know really that Crumble. Well, so I knew of Crumble, but I didn't realize why it had gotten popular. And this is my understanding. So if I'm wrong, people listening, I'm sorry. Like, this is just my perception. One of the reasons that Crumble took off was these TikTokers. I think God, I just showed my age. TikTok people, TikTokers.
TikTok people.
I'm only a few years.
TikTok.
Yeah, these boy, you better get off that TikTok. Anyways, TikTokers were featuring them, I guess is the right word, in their TikToks. And that's one of the, I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm saying that's good. They have great cookies. But that's one of the reasons that it became one of the, very mainstream. And honestly, I'd heard about it, and I was like, whatever, I'll try it. $4 cookie seems like a little inflation to me, but whatever.
Yep.
I'll go try it. It's worth the hype. I go. The first time I go, I turn around because there's like a billion 13-year-old girls in line, and I'm like not waiting in that. So don't go in. And then the second time I go at like 2:30 in the afternoon, where people that are at work and school, are still in work and school. So
yeah.
Anywho, I put them on my Instagram, and I semi like review them, whatever. And I got for someone like me that doesn't have 81 million followers like you do.
I don't know who you're talking to, because that's not me.
I got a lot of DMs, and I was like, man, this is weird. I'm kind of like, man, like, what is going on here? Why am I getting so many freaking DMs on a Crumble cookie?
Yeah.
And people are like, man, you should like review these. This would be cool. I'm a big Dave Portnoy fan. Big Dave Portnoy fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Love the pizza review. And I was like, man, I could be the Dave Portnoy of Crumble cookies. And it just happens to be that all these CrossFitters are like obsessive about, go figure, cookies and CrossFit, right? Who would have known?
Yeah.
So I do the Crumble review, and it gets over 6,000 views. I don't have that many followers for people listening. And I'm like, what in the F is happening? So anyways, I'm just going to keep doing it because evidently people like it. I guess it's semi-funny. I don't know. But the goal was, and the reason I brought all this up is because once you guys get a Crumble cookie, I want you to do a Crumble cookie review with me.
Absolutely.
And Matt Pullen's going to do it this week. We're basically just going to go. We're basically just going to go live. Less than 10 minutes, really quick. One bite type of deal.
One bite, you know the rules.
Yeah.
Right?
So, anyways, we'll see if my Crumble career takes off, and if it does, see you CrossFit. Look, I'm out.
You need to do it as like a reel. Like,
teach me.
Or just like one cookie at a time, even.
Okay, why?
Or like, sorry.
You're good.
Just reels will explode a lot. Like, that's how you go viral.
Reels.
So if you can figure out how to fit 4 cookies into 60 seconds,
you would be brilliant.
Yes. Like the reviews. I mean, you can crop it, of course, and like speed it. Like the long ones are great too. Like those shouldn't go away. But to gain more attention towards your longer reviews, you can get a reel to go viral. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I just got advice from the GOAT himself, the Instagram GOAT. So this is something I picked up from Cooper, and I'm sure you've heard him say that because he's probably told it. He's probably told you should do it. He said go to these accounts, and Cooper is his agent for those listening, agent to Danielle Brandon, Bethany Shadburn, a bazillion people. Anywho, so he said to go to the accounts that you like. So in this case, Crumble, the people that you're trying to attract, and put these pithy, almost comical like comments, and just be there every time they post something. And I was like, dude, that's brilliant. I don't know if you do that.
I mean, you look at like, so my favorite page is white people humor. If you don't follow it, like, I know, like, you're not gonna, like, racist. No, it's just, that just happens to be the name, everyone.
I'm pulling it up.
It is the greatest page, and he has another page. It's called Florida Man. He lives in Florida. And then he has a page called Literally Every Meme. He's the biggest memer, if that's a word, alive. Like that's what he calls himself too. He has so many followers. But
4.5
like
milli.
on one account.
Yeah.
That's on one.
Damn.
But like if you look, like all the same people are leaving the top comments. Like Tank Sinatra or whatever. Is that his name?
Yeah. Oh,
Good
yeah.
news.
You're
He's
right.
always up there because they have this thing and then like they pin each other's comments. Like that's how it gets started. Is yeah, he comment on the same accounts.
Interesting. I just learned something. Um,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Anyways.
Wait, I had one other Crumble question. When was the last time or the first time you had Crumble?
The first time I had Crumble, it was the time before I did the cookie review, so it was like 3 months ago. It was recent. It was recent.
Wow, that's crazy. Cause
Yeah, I haven't been in the game long.
yeah, cause I mean, Crumble in Utah has been around like before I was in high school, like 4 or 5 years.
Well, I'm just surprised no one's like owning that cookie review space. I mean, because
I know you gotta start putting them on YouTube, Instagram,
yeah,
Facebook for the oldies, Twitter.
yeah, I don't think old people are gonna eat Crumble cookies. Every time I've been in there, it is clearly like millennials, Gen Z, I think is what they call them. Like,
Teenage girls. You
yeah,
may be on TikTok then.
I don't even know how to use TikTok. That shows my age. So okay, enough about Crumble cookies. But I am doing a review this week. I'm very excited about the banana cream. Oh my gosh. Ooh, yikes.
That'll be good.
Have you, real quick, and then I promise I'll get off this subject. Have you ever heard of Trailer Trash Tammy? That's actually her name. Well, I mean, that's her
No,
stage name. She's a comedian.
no.
Okay, she basically goes around and she's made a living out of reviewing fast food joints,
Yeah.
and she is exactly what she sounds like based off of her stage name. Okay, that's all I'm
Yep.
going to say. And you can look up the rest. But I'm trying, I'm trying my hardest to get her to do a cookie review with me. First of all, it would be a lifetime achievement award. Okay, so I'm just going to throw that out there. Secondly, I think it would just bring a whole new level of followers to the space that I'm in with a bunch of fit CrossFit people,
Yeah.
because she is not a fit CrossFit person. Anyways, so Trailer Trash Tammy, if you want to laugh, if you want to laugh really hard and probably see what Alabama is like, you can go to Trailer Trash Tammy on YouTube.
Everyone go comment on Trailer Trash Tammy's last post a million times and just say DM at Micah Shoot. And just like blow her page up and then we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Anyways, so my top two people are Trailer Trash Tammy and then, ironically, Brooke Wells. And the reason why, just let me explain why.
Because she posts every week, right?
Because she posts every week, and I think it like I've asked her to come on a podcast. She doesn't respond. That's cool. Like I'm not mad. Like you got things going on. This is not me hating. All I'm saying is, hey, that's cool. Don't do an hour podcast with me. Do a 6-minute cookie review. How does that sound? That sounds fair to me.
It seems like a fair trade.
Yeah, 6 minutes, and you can do it from your iPhone. Cool.
Yeah.
And you're gonna eat a cookie, and you're just gonna tell people what you think about it. People are gonna love it.
Yep.
Dallin, how is your training? I mean, obviously, I understand that you got the ankle thing going on, so minus the ankle thing. How has your training changed over, the past, I don't know, year, especially since like not West Coast, but the semifinal? Has it changed? Because I know that you're one of the stronger guys in the field.
Mm-hmm.
You snatch 300, you clean and jerk 260, 265, 270, somewhere in that ballpark. Do you still clean and jerk? Do you still do those things? Like I'm seriously, I'm really curious.
No, I don't. Yeah. So the biggest thing, I mean, I'm sure I would be doing a little more of that with, like without the ankle, like I was doing that before I rolled it, but I don't lift unless it's under fatigue usually, and then I just don't lift really. That's the biggest difference from like last year at this time. Like I was still doing lifting, but we've embraced the fact that I'm one of the stronger athletes, and so I get some of my lifting, and then it's like, how strong can we make my triceps, and how many miles can we run in a day? So we just like are completely focused in on the things I need to get better at, which is really cool that I'm in a position to take advantage of that because there's
Mm.
like three main focuses and then of course different stimuluses, um, and that's all we do.
Gotcha. So every session is more cardio based. Like you said you're doing a lot of running. I mean, I know the
Yep.
ankle is prohibitive right now, but outside of the ankle,
Yep.
doing a lot of running, and then just like a lot of like zone two, like longer stuff. Is that what you're doing right now?
hmm Yep.
Okay.
I mean, like same goes with Phil. Like he's stronger than me. He's insanely strong. Um,
That guy.
like when we get a touch of barbell, it's a special day. Like we were talking about one rep maxes, and Matt's like, "Yeah, when you guys do a one rep max all together," I said, "Who's that? Like, what's a one rep max?" But yeah,
It's interesting to hear that because, um, and the reason I say that is because I was having this conversation with a guy that I coach, and we were talking about this exact same thing. I said, it's one thing to talk about, yeah, CrossFit is an endurance sport. Yeah, CrossFit is this, CrossFit's that, and it's and if you look at it, you can go, hey, I mean, literally, there's one event every year that's normally a max lift. Everything else is sure, it might be relatively heavy. Maybe an exception to that would be like the clean barbell ladder with the
yeah,
runs, like, but still, under fatigue, and you definitely have to be strong enough. But once you are strong enough, and this is what I was telling him, I was like, it takes, because it's sexy to say, oh, we're going to do endurance, but it takes some serious balls or ovaries to actually make that, seriously, to make that change in someone's true coach
yeah,
or someone's programming. Because why? Because, wait a second, you're going to take all my lifting out? You can take all my, yeah, we're
yeah,
going to take it out. Yeah, we're taking it out, and we're spending 6 hours a day developing your aerobic system, making you more
yep,
enduring.
yeah.
Just but like kudos to Matt Torres for actually
I could,
making that move.
yeah, I couldn't do it on my own. Like that's terrifying, but he knows what he's doing and it's working. Like we did exactly what we wanted to on like the barbell complex workout or whatever,
Mm-hmm. On
Wadapalooza.
Wadapalooza, yeah.
Yeah, like say last year if like we trained exactly how we did last year going into this,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been probably third or fourth,
Mm.
say third. Um, but like seventh is what I was aiming for. Like that's what I wanted to get because then I would know some of these other things were paying off. Um, so it worked. Like he knows what he's doing. We can take a seventh on the lifting. I'd rather take a seventh on the lifting and improve by 10 spots on two other workouts.
All day, right? That's just
Yeah,
like numbers.
yeah,
And you feel like you've seen the improvements that you guys are looking for. You're happy with it.
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Still have a lot to work on, but yeah.
But D-ball cleans is not one of them.
Me and my D-ball, we sleep together. Spend a lot of time. Yep.
For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you can just Google D-ball clean Dallin Pepper and you'll find it.
Yeah.
It's Dallin's screensaver.
It's a bit sad. Sad story. You'll probably cry. I know I
Uh,
did.
I mean, you're what, 2 points, 3 points from making the CrossFit Games. Yeah, I would cry too. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. What's it like training with maybe some of the fittest human, not maybe, I mean, some of the fittest human beings? I mean, you got Phil Toon, you've got James Sprague, Emma Carey. I mean, like, what's that
Yeah.
like every day? Obviously, I understand, and I've heard you say it. I've heard Phil say, you're not going head to head every day. You're not killing each other. But like, what's that like in a gym setting?
It's special. And then like just having Matt there, I was thinking yesterday, uh, it's easier to know like every rep is counting when Matt's there.
Mm,
I don't know why. But, like he programmed this intentionally and now he's watching you do it.
mm,
Like you gotta step it up. And I don't think you can just do that at home as much as you try. Like we all try and focus our absolute best.
mm-hmm,
There's something special about that. And then like I'm on the assault bike or echo bike, just like grinding it out for an hour
mm-hmm,
and a half. And I look over and there's Emma doing something completely different on a rower
mm.
or something or a bike. And it's like, she's chasing the same thing as me, like step it up, like that kind of thing. Just like looking over across the room and like all these other people are dedicating just as much as you.
Mm.
Um, and so like that's motivating in a good way. If we were going head to head every day, oh, brutal Friday last week, dude.
Yeah, what I saw all of you post about it. Like there was like it was like bodies on the floor.
It
Matt
was
was getting lawsuits against him. It was bad. It's bad stuff.
the worst. I have not felt like that. I don't even remember the last time I felt like that. Like it made me 5 times more sore than Wadapalooza. Um, so we did 4 sets,
Okay.
15 hang squat snatch with a 105 barbell.
Oh, that's deceivingly light.
Yeah, so 15 hang squat snatch, 15 overhead squats, 10 power snatch, 21 calorie echo bike, 4 sets, rest somewhere between 4 to 6 minutes between sets. Matt would just tell us when we were going, based on what was happening on the floor in between each round. The rule, the rule was you could not hold back no matter what on the first round or any of the rounds. Like you could not, like there was no holding back. Um, yeah, it was like people were laying on the ground after 1 round, and we had 3 more. Uh, yeah, and me and Phil are like looking into each other's eyes as we do all the barbell work because that's just happened how the floor laid out. Um, and it was like the first 3 rounds, he did the entire comp barbell unbroken. I dropped after the overhead squats into the snatches, but we get on the bike at the same time, and yeah, it was pretty wild. It hurt.
So, at the end of this, what happened?
Uh, I dry heaved over a trash can for like 10 minutes and then almost fell walking out of the gym. And then James took his turn dry heaving and then he actually threw up. Um, and he didn't even have the exact same workout. His was a little bit different. Um, yeah, it was bad. Everyone was dying.
Was Emma there too?
Yeah, so Emma and James did a little bit different, just with James's knees and Emma's back. Um,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
so they did a little different. So they went in like the first heat, like right before us each time, and then me, Phil, and Ethan went together. Um, but the goal of the workout was to see who could have we played like golf. Like anytime you were over your last time, that's how many points you got. Um, but I won the first round by like 18 seconds
So you had a buffer.
over. Well, no, no, no. So I got like 151 and Phil was like 208, but my next round was like 217 and his was 217. He only got like 9 points and I got like
Oh, I
whatever the
got
math
it.
is on that.
I got
So
it.
I had a lot of points, but overall I spent less time working. But
So who's really the winner?
yeah, well, actually, whoever felt best and just didn't go all out, they won. Because, oh man, it was terrible. So,
Man, yeah. So I DM'd with Ethan after because I was like, dude, what is going
what
on? Like,
happened?
no, I mean it's just like dead bodies on the floor, and they're talking about like this was assault, and I'm like, dude, what is happening over here? Like, y'all been together a week, and my gosh, and so he kind of gives me a rundown, and I was like, oh my, and look, and that's the thing. I think you have to be a special type of psychotic to go, because like yourself, and I'm sure you do, because you're a pro. That governor in your head of like, I shouldn't do this right now. There's no coming back from that, and then you
Yeah,
do it, and then you're on the ground, and it's like, okay, 4 minutes have gone by, which is nothing. Like,
yeah. All of a sudden, Matt's like 60 seconds, and I'm like, no.
and it's like, hey, I've got 3 more rounds of this, and I got to
Yeah.
send it. Yeah, I think that's fascinating. I mean, when you guys are in there, are you guys doing you said Brutal Friday? Are you guys doing that every week? Are you going head to head, or was that kind of a one off?
No, we'll do the Brutal Fridays every week, and that's like the one time we get to compete every week.
Mm. Okay,
Um,
so y'all have talked about that. Like that's a
yeah,
thing.
yep, that'll be a thing. That'll lead into the open. Like we'll do the open workouts Friday nights for our second session. That'll be Brutal Friday. Um, so we'll continue that, and I think that's just enough to like compete, but also like this workout was intervals, and it wasn't necessarily head to head, but in a way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
we were all just doing it together, and the intensity was there. Like me and Phil both agreed if we were doing this by ourselves, it would have been 15 or 14 hang squat snatch, drop the bar, hang squat snatch into the overhead squats, drop the bar, 10 power snatch. And then like we go hard on the bike, but we broke the barbell 3 times. Instead, we're hanging on for 40 reps or whatever
Mm.
and then trying to send it. So just that type of thing. And then Matt has a way of saying things to really get you going, no matter how much pain you're in. It's really cool, but he makes you do things you don't you don't want to do and you didn't think you could. So
Are you the type of athlete? Because athletes are very like everybody's very different, right? Some people
yeah,
respond to that negative shit talk, like reinforcement type thing, and
yeah.
some are more like, I need the cheerleader thing. Where do you fall, and how does Matt approach you specifically?
I think I fall somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what did he? Yeah, he fall somewhere in the middle between those, and Matt knows when to say it.
Mm.
Like when we were in Ohio, when he was like, "Oh, there's no way you're making this round on the Echo bike test. Like, dude, there's no way you're gonna make it. You could just stop. Like there's no way." That type of thing. Then he said things before lifts, like when I was a little bit younger and I was lifting with some of the men. He's like, "Hey, you got to show these guys like you're competing with them next year. Go show them that they should probably watch out."
Mm.
So he can go back and forth and he knows when to say it, and it works really well. So like props to him because I don't even know exactly what I need, but he seems to.
Mm. God, that's good, man. I mean, obviously I've said this a ton of times on the podcast. I have so much respect for him, and the way that he not only that he carries himself, but the way that he does everything with such great intentionality. I can't say that about a ton of coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
When is the Brute Gym still on track to be completed in March?
Um, my hopes are up for the end of February based on what I was hearing yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Um, what today's the third, so
Third,
for the
yeah,
people, because it'll come out a little later.
yeah,
Um, there's we have two equipment companies that are like we're narrowing it down. Who's gonna like be the
yeah,
equipment
yeah,
company over the Brute Gym? And it's getting close. And there's one that's like really in. I don't know all the details, and I don't know what I'm supposed to say
yeah. No, I
in
understand.
regards to who it is and
I
like
understand.
what. But I'm hoping for the end of February because like we have the flooring. Me, James, and Emma have equipment in the gym. Like if we laid the flooring down, we could do sessions in there. There's enough
Hmm.
equipment. Not everything, of course, but they need to get it painted, flooring in, and then the equipment here, and we should be good.
There was an article that came out a couple weeks ago, or no, maybe not a couple weeks ago. It's probably a week ago at this point, and I saw you share it. I saw a bunch of other athletes share it in regards to athlete payment, and
Hmm.
and then Brian Friend, though I just kind of read the Spark Notes, but Brian Friend wrote another article about examining the payout schedule from just looking at basically the prize person, saying is first place getting too much, and should we? Yeah, okay, so you've
Yeah.
seen it. I'm
I
I'm
need to
curious.
read the one that came out today. I haven't read that one, but
Okay,
I did. I read the other one and shared it. Yeah.
what's your hot take on that?
The sport needs to like, how if you want what someone else has, like you can copy them. Like you need to do
Yeah,
what they're doing.
yeah.
If you want to be a professional sport, there's plenty out there.
Mm,
Choose one of the formats and go with it. Like we have people in space that would be more than happy. Like Jason, who works with Cooper, he's also an MLB agent.
mm,
He knows how all of that works, and he mentioned something in the article about how that works, and I can't remember exactly how it is, but like all the athletes receive a check that covers, or all the players receive a check that covers if any of their jerseys are sold, their names used on anything, if one of them's on the cover of a video game, they all get a check at the beginning of the year, and it's like a significant check. So if CrossFit could figure out a way, like these 100 athletes or whatever, and the check can go down. Like we get it. Like Tia is a lot better and more well known than 100th place overall over the course of the year. But like if their name's going to be used on anything to promote anything, they should receive some sort of compensation. Of course, there's also not as much money in the sport, so I understand that, and I don't want to get like give us all the money because I'm sure they're trying, but they could try in areas a little harder from my point of view. Yeah, they should professionalize it, and there's clear path to do that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They use an example of the NHL, right? And basically where the owners and the players split the profits 50-50. You know, in this case, I don't really know if you have owners, quote unquote, because there's, you know, right. But so, yeah, to your point, it would go to the athletes themselves. And, you know, something that we had talked about on the Brew podcast, it was L's idea, or I don't know if it was his idea. He was the one that brought it up, was kind of treat it like golf, where you have to have you basically have to qualify for your pro card. And I don't know what qualifying for your pro card would be, right? I don't know if it's you have to have made it to the CrossFit Games, you have to be you have to be, you know, this number in the world. Like I'm not exactly sure what that would look like. I would probably argue you have to make it to the CrossFit Games. I don't think making it to a semifinal is enough. So you need to be one of those top 5 guys or gals that make it out of the semifinal to the CrossFit Games, and then basically it qualifies you for a pro card, right? And then that pro card, to your point, is jersey sales or entitles you to a percentage of jersey sales, this, that, the third. I do think there is a point there's a valid point for a performance-based merit system, right? To your point, like Tia is by and large the most successful female CrossFit athlete to ever do it. So you're telling me that she is not entitled to more than, like you said, 100th place. A lot of people get, really pissed off about that. And it's like, well, that's just enabling the current system even more. Well, no, I don't think it is, because if we're paying out 1 through blah, blah, blah anyways, because doesn't the games only pay out through, 20th? Is that right?
20. Yeah.
So if you're telling me that everybody 1 through 40 gets something, I see that as a substantially better situation than where we are now.
Yeah, 100%.
How many people do you think actually, Dallin, do this full time? And what I mean by full time is they don't have any other jobs. Like, obviously, you do it full time. I mean, you're a full time CrossFitter. Yeah. How many people do you think is like you?
So you're counting like social media and sponsors, right?
Yes, I would say that is full time.
That's part of being an athlete, right?
Yeah, like I'm saying, like you're not a side realtor or you're not a side chiro or PT. Like, you know what I'm saying?
If I had to guess, and I'm not going to count the people that competed like RX at Wadapalooza that have 600,000 followers and make a bunch of money that way.
Which is insane that is what it is. But
yeah. Like actually CrossFit Games level, competing like that. I'm trying to think who.
Under 20, over 20?
Over 20.
Okay.
For sure. I would even possibly say maybe a little over 50 to 60.
Okay, that's more than I thought.
Possibly. I could be a little, maybe we'll say 40 to 60. We'll open it up to there. 40 to 60. And I'm counting some of those that do work in a CrossFit gym, or like I still program for 5 athletes.
Yeah, that's not
I'm not going to count that as a full-time job or anything.
No.
That's just like a little side hustle that you can add on top of it. But I'd say anywhere between 40 and 60.
That are making a living from CrossFit / what we're saying, social media or CrossFit-esque sponsors.
Yes, but they're competing at a high level too.
and competing at a high level. And we're going to call that, and just so the definitions are clear, high level being you're either at the games or knocking on the door every year. Like,
yes,
probably most are making the games.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And it's been, I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of younger athletes in that boat. Like with what's going on with all the teenagers signing with managers, companies, like they're investing in us. Like we're coming out of high school, not having to get a real job so we can completely focus on training. Not that it's not a real job. We work hard.
100% it is.
But like there's going to be a shift and the sport's going to get that much more competitive because of what these companies are doing and allowing us to do.
When you say these companies, you're talking about sponsors, are you right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. Yeah.
So why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that it's I don't know. This is interesting to me because how I see it is it's like a bird in the hand. Let me say it this way. A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. Have you ever heard of that analogy?
No. But like I get it.
Just talk
I
to
get
something.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Those Southern colloquialisms. Basically, here's where I'm going with this. I'm interested in to get your take on this because you've been there and not too long ago. I'm curious to see why, in your opinion, do you think the companies are taking these kids, right, that are coming out of, say, the teenager division? Maybe they won, maybe they podium, whatever, versus someone that, say, takes, I don't know, 26th at the games that is really having to probably to still work a full-time job. Like,
yeah.
Why do you think that is?
So let's add more detail. Let's say the person who took 26th is 25, 26 years old. Not that that's old at all, but we'll throw that number out there. Then you have, it's kind of clear now, like my class of the teenage division and maybe the year younger than me, it's clear who's still sticking around and who's not. Like you can name the names. They were at Wadapalooza. They were at semifinals. It's clear who it is, and those are the people getting that. Like teenagers in the teenage division, unless they are like knocking on the door of the elite division. Emma Carey, Mal O'Brien, Emma Lawson.
Dude, she's so fit. Emma Lawson.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
She has another year in the teenage division.
Oh,
Again.
That's gross.
But like those are the ones that are getting those sponsorships, and it's clear that they're going to be in the space for a long time. And I think the companies see that, and that the agents understand that. And so they're using that as leverage where like you can, I don't want to say like get them at a discount, but like we're not worth as much as we hope to be in 3 years. Yeah, I think I'm saying that right, but like they want to take that chance with us and they believe in us, which is motivating in itself. Like I want to, like I have all these people and companies supporting me to do this, and like that's motivation. Like little gas on the fire. It's really cool. It's cool what's happening.
Yeah, man, it is because it allows you to obviously be more successful with their help and support than if you had to go out and get a real like 8 to 5, 9 to 5 like the BS type of thing, and it's like, there's just no way you can be at the top of the level. Here's kind of where I wanted to go and wrap this up with this statement is, as I look at you now and being almost a year that I got the chance to interview the first time, and now we're here and you've gone through a full season and you've had, by all stretch and imagination, a great amount of success. Granted, I know your version. I've known you now. I know what you want, and I'm clear that you probably don't deem it as that. But to me, and you hinted at this earlier, is that you're having fun. I think what you said was that you actually laughed in the corral. That's special to me, and that's something that breaks the norm of what I hear on this podcast. And I'm curious to hear why that is and why you think that is.
I've heard other athletes like say, "Oh, I'm trying to I'm gonna be just take myself not quite as seriously, but also like I want to go out and like take souls on the competition floor. And I've only competed very seriously. That's how I've done it my entire life. Um, and I heard like Matt Frazier said like a happy competitor is a dangerous competitor. So I just wanted to try it. Like,
Mm.
what if we're having a good time out there? And I figured, what better way to try it when you have Pat Vellner next to you in the corral the entire time? Like, that's kind of like what I was going after. It was like what the way he
Mm.
does it, and it worked really well. And I think I can find a middle ground between the way I typically do it and what I did at Wadapalooza, because obviously semifinals in the CrossFit Games are going to be a little more serious than an off-season competition like Wadapalooza. Um, but yeah, like we were having a good time back there. I mean, we were stuck back there for an hour and a half multiple times, which we should not be. But we were
That's
back there.
dangerous.
We had to entertain ourselves and had a good time. Obviously, when we're like walking out onto the competition floor and they call us to line up, um, it's go time and no one's cracking jokes anymore. But yeah, it's fun. Like if you're not, why do it if you're not having fun?
I mean, are y'all like shooting craps? Are you playing tic tac
Oh,
toe? You playing rock paper scissors? Like, I mean, bring me in. Like, what is having fun?
uh, I mean, just like, oh man, I don't even know. Just like talking shit to each other, just
Who's the
like
biggest shit talker?
uh, Vellner for sure, and then uh,
So appropriate.
I'm gonna say this just because we're buddies now, but Jason Hopper tries. He's just not that good at it. No, I had a me and James and Jason and Taylor Self. We had some good laughs back there. It was fun, but
Man, Jason seems like a good dude. I won't hold it against him that he's canceled on me twice. On the
no,
podcast.
you can definitely hold it against him.
But
If you
yeah,
ever get the chance, ask him why he chalked up before those last ring muscle ups on at Wadapalooza. We did the whole workout together, and then 30 seconds left, and we're both walking back to the rings for muscle ups, and he got chalk, and yeah, we it was fun. That was like one of the highlights for both of us, like just doing
mhm.
that whole workout. Like we were rep for rep the entire time, um, and I just have to give him a little crap for that, but.
I hear this a lot that and he posted it on his story. Him being Jason posted it on his story. Why is this like a is this a man-made feud or is this like legit the beef between Medeiros and Jason Hopper? Is that legit?
No, they're good buddies.
Okay, okay. So it's
I
just
mean,
it.
like,
Gotcha.
I mean, like, I, same goes for Jason, I'm sure, but like, we love to beat each other on the competition floor. Like, that's what we want to do, but like, we have
Hmm.
fun in the back. Like,
I was
yeah,
just wondering. I mean, it sounded. I mean, I've heard him put it this way. I've heard him say it enough times now, where now there's a narrative around it, and I just wanted to know if you perceived it
yeah,
to be
and
true.
I mean, it's like, I mean, if I really want to like play into it, it's like, oh yeah, they hate each other. That's what everyone wants to think. It adds fun to the story, and like, that's great, but no, they're both good dudes, and they respect each other for sure.
That's why I asked you because I feel like you would give it to me straight. You wouldn't BS me.
Yeah.
You would tell me
Yeah.
the real, the real story. So, um, in terms of going forward, and in terms of you having fun going forward, I mean, obviously you got to experience it a little bit at Wadapalooza, but and maybe you don't know, but like, what does it look like for you now? Because I know when I first interviewed you, I remember because I kind of listened back to that and I took some notes and I remember you saying over and over again, like when I compete, like I turn the switch on, like I'm a different person. Like there's no phones, there's no media, there's no podcast, there's none of that. I mean, what is going forward for you having fun like actually look like?
So with that, like I still flip that switch and I am a different person.
Mm.
Um, like nothing changed like when I was back at the Airbnb. Like it was more like when I was there, like having that confidence, like I can laugh and there's like that other dude that's sitting in the corner just with his head down, just like rah
Mm.
rah, gotta win, blah, blah, blah. Like I would look at those guys that were having a good time and be like, what are they doing? But like to have the confidence to do that and then go beat that person, I
Mm.
think that's cool. But like at the Airbnb, the same thing. Like I didn't talk much. I ate food and watched Marvel movies in the Normatec booths. Like my mom and dad were there, and Corinne. All of them very aware of how I am during competitions now. Um, it was like, can I get you this food? And that's just how it was. It's very quiet at the Airbnb for the most part. Um, so that doesn't change, and I know that works for me, so that's how it's gonna stay. Like while I'm actually out there doing it, yeah, I'm. It's all fun. I enjoy all of it. It's very stressful all the time. Very fun, but yeah.
Instead of happy but hungry, stressful
Stressed but fun.
stressful.
Yeah, stressful but fun.
I just came up with your brand, Dallin. You're welcome.
Stressful but fun.
That's a shitty brand. Don't take that.
Yeah, it's tough to.
No one's buying that shirt, dude. Look, I love you, but I'm not buying you that shirt.
Yeah, no. Could you imagine? Oh,
It's got like the it's got like the emoji where his face is like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That's your brand logo.
That's
Oh
that's terrible.
yeah, I agree, it's terrible. Don't use that. All right, dude. Anything else you want to add before we jump off here?
Be on the lookout. Brute YouTube. We got stuff coming.
Oh, for real? I don't even know this. What do we have
Yeah.
coming? This is exciting.
The
You're like, I don't
goal,
know.
and I'm gonna make sure this happens, is two weekly videos.
For
One
real?
one will typically be Brutal Friday, where it's just like showing up to the gym, quick video of everyone, and then it's like
The workout.
music, clock, workout, showing everyone do the workout. Very simple.
Legit.
The other one's going to be like a training session, just camera guys gonna be hanging out, very informal,
Mhm.
showing workouts. Matt will be giving tips,
Oh, that's good.
without really giving our secrets away.
Ooh.
But there will definitely be knowledge available in those, and then little stuff like day in the life of each of us, that kind of thing.
So, since I just found that out, for people listening, two things. One, if you're listening to this like audio version, which you probably are either on iTunes or Spotify or wherever else you listen to these, I don't know, you can go to the show notes in this podcast episode, and it will say watch this video on YouTube. So you can actually watch Dallin and I's conversation. That's number one. And then obviously number two, when you're at the YouTube channel, the Bruce Strength YouTube channel, you can subscribe so that you can make sure, and basically you hit the little bell notification. It literally looks like a bell. That's what you hit. And you can subscribe to make sure that you're seeing all the videos that Dallin said are going to be coming out. So anyways, just for people listening, if you're trying to figure out where you can go, I already have it in the show notes for you. Just click the link. It'll say watch this episode on YouTube. Click that.
Bingo.
Boom. All right, dude. Be good. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
Go to bed before midnight, please.
Yeah. Just gonna not turn in my homework. After, I was gonna say, was that a call out? Like how you do anything is how you do everything.
Look, when you texted me, I said I will not bring this up on the podcast. But look,
Okay, this is the last thing.
Go for it.
I text Micah and I'm like, just so you know, I'm waking up right before this thing. My homework screwed me over and I'm just going to bed. And then I say, that was a super victim mentality moment, but I'm gonna roll with it. Oh.
Two things, guys. One, self-awareness. You've got to have self-awareness in all situations.
Yeah,
it's
that's
so important.
the lesson.
Okay, that is the lesson. Number two, despite both of us getting in late, me on a flight, him because his dog ate his homework, the dog that he doesn't have, we're still here on this podcast because then I immediately texted Dallin. I said, look, the show goes on, my friend. And that's truly the lesson, is being self-aware and then realizing that there is only one cure to anxiousness in life. There's only one cure to uncertainty in life. There's only one cure to the feeling of disappointment in life. And that cure, my friends, is action. Action, massive action, will solve almost any problem that you're having. And I truly believe that. So I'll leave you with that. Good people. Dallin, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.